Alright, we're going to take our tap and we're going to retap a new hole. I'm going to retap a new hole in this one stud hole just so that we will have clean threads going in and going out, because I had to drill this one out. And once I have this rethreaded, once we tap it, I'm going to blow it out. I don't have compressed air, but I have a pump, a hand pump, that I'll just blow out any metal shavings. And I did put a little oil. I don't have tap oil, I just put a little bit of motor oil on it just so it go in and out easily. So we're all done. I used an 8 by 1.25 tap. So these are M8 1.25 studs. So these are the new studs we're going to put in. So I'm going to put some anti-seize lubricant on the stud threads. I probably won't have to redo this, but if I do, it'll make it easier. This truck has a lot of miles on it. Yours may have less miles on it and you're doing it and you may have to do it again. This will make your job a lot easier taking these studs back out. So we're just going to put some on the threads and put them in. So we're going to put the exhaust manifold back together. Got the gasket, the manifold. It's so hard trying to fight this thing. I'm going to try to see if I can just hold it. Put the studs in. Once I get the manifold hooked up on the pipe, on the exhaust pipe. So main thing is trying to get that gasket to line up and not slide out. Put one stud in, one nut just to hold it in place. And we'll try to get all the rest of them in. I think it'll be a longer process this way, but I think it'll be an easier process as far as not having to fight this thing. And my plan is to put in the 2 top far end studs and then just hold it on. Hold them on with the nuts, and then we can put in all the studs. So I'm just gonna get them all hand tight, and then we're gonna come back and torque it. The ones on the bottom you're not gonna be able to see me do really, but just use an extension, your 5mm socket, and your 1/4" sharp ratchet. Just take your time, and just get it put back together. I just get the studs started by hand and then I just ratchet them in. I just hand tighten in the stud, and then once I get it to go in a few threads, I'll start ratcheting it up. Because the space is so tight with a small extension, you need to spin it a couple times to get it clearance. And then once you have a little bit of clearance, you can get the ratchet with the extension in there. You can tighten it up the rest of the way. So it's really hard to show you how I'm doing this on the bottom from the angle that everything's in. The camera doesn't get a good angle, but you can see where I'm working. You just gotta work in that tight space. Take your time, hand thread it, and then once you can get a small ratchet on it, you can get it in the rest of the way. Usually working on it, I'm in view of the camera, so that's why I can't show you every angle, but I'm trying to give you the best. Most of the time you just feel around till you get the stud in the hole. So we torque them to 106 inch-pounds. I might not be able to get to all of them with my tool, but we'll see. Well, with the tool I have, I can't get it on this one. I kind of know what it feels like. So I'm just going to tighten this one by hand. But I kind of know what the pressure is that I'm dealing with the torque wrench, so I won't over tighten it. I don't know if I can get to the ones at the bottom because of the space. I'm not going to go out and buy another torque wrench to get in this spot. I need to get this job done. But if you want it done 100% right to spec, I would go get the tool. If not, if you know what it feels like, you can just do it by hand. Do it by feel. Because that's what I'm going to have to do. Old school mechanic is what they do, right? So I'm going to tighten up the manifold nuts. It's going to go from top to bottom, top to bottom. So you're going to need a 13mm deep to get around that stud. Just hand tighten it there. So it's really hard to get to. You can see where I'm reaching through. Hand screwing in by hand. Really hard to work in that tight spot. So just trying to get these bottom ones. And this one right here, because of this mount, it's very hard to get this one right here in there. So to even get this one started, it is almost impossible to get your fingers in there. I mean, there is like a millimeter of space to work to get that nut on that stud. Go to the bottom one. And get down here and get this bottom one. If you look way up there, that is in the way of wrenching it. But if you look from underneath, just make sure you don't strip that out. But I'm gonna be working on that from the top. That's the one underneath. You can get it's really tight. Just work on it real slow and you'll get it in. Just don't strip it. Install the exhaust flange bolts. We should be able to tighten it down and fire up. Tighten up the flange bolts. It's almost tightened up. I switched over to a 15mm wrench. From underneath. Tightening it up with a 15mm deep socket. Bring it down through there. You work right here. Just tighten it up, back and forth. So it's tight. Alright, with the 2 flange bolts tightened up. We got all the exhaust manifold bolts tightened up. We are good to go. It is the moment of truth. We gotta fire it up. Now we're going to put the covers back together. Just put it back together and ready to go. Well, if you wanted to get in this job, I would think twice about it. If it's super rusty, if you don't mind the trials and tribulations, go for it. I just hope you have another vehicle. You might need some transportation if you go through the problems I went through. But once again, thanks for watching. This one was a challenge, but we got through it. Silver bullets back on the road. Alright, we're gonna put this thing back together. Put the wheel well cover up. Just have a few screws. So I'm gonna start here just to hold everything together, and then I'll just work my way around the whole truck to the back to the front. So let's get to it. Just gonna start here. Just start tightening everything down. line them up. Number 3. And then we got number 4. So if you forget, the liner goes behind the wheel well. Got 1, 2, got 3 and 4. Now we get the plastic panel pieces on. Go underneath and you'll go panel piece here, and you just push it up in the hole. Just push up in the hole and you're good to go. That's it, just push it up. After I pushed in these two, I'm gonna move back up here, follow those two up. There's another one here. Push this panel piece in. So I push this panel piece in. It's hard to get the camera in there while I'm working on it. I got a couple inches of space. This one's pushed in. Well, I gotta get one more panel piece up here. The parts store gave me the wrong size, but what's new? So the exhaust manifold is in there and replaced, new, good to go. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep your truck running.